Hi, I'm here with Abner. On here it says Imperial Pale Ale, but everyone calls this a double IPA, and it's the standard double IPA from Farmstead. The little logo's on there. And this one has been around for basically the beginning of Farmstead. I didn't have a taste of this until last summer, but it was from a keg at a restaurant in Vermont that, I don't know, maybe it wasn't served quite right or the keg was a little old. Pretty lackluster, though a lot of people love Abner. It's double dry hopped according to some old info I found on some websites. It says it on Beer Advocate and it says it on, I think, maybe Untapped too. And then on Beer Advocate it also listed the hops. It said Centennial, Chinook, Columbus, Simcoe, and Warrior, so a lot of hops that were popular back in 2010 when they first started making this one. And they also said there was pale malt and caramel malt going on in here. And it's 8%. This, I think, is a very fresh batch, thankfully, because it just showed up on the Farmstead menu the week that I went there. So I think this, was packaged about a week ago. I guess a teeny bit over a week ago. So a very fresh beer. I wonder if they've changed the recipe at all, added in some newer wave hops. I would not be surprised if it doesn't have that exact hop bill that I just listed. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it does have the same, because like Edward, their standard pale ale that's available everywhere in Vermont, that one is a really great beer, but you can tell it uses the old-fashioned C hops. They didn't change it and put Citra Mosaic in it. They do that in different IPAs and pale ales. And this looks very beautiful. Just completely perfect, as usual, with Farmstead beers. A nice glow, no chunks. Nope, not a single chunk. Perfect soapy head sticking on there with some big bubbles, but also super fine and rich bubbles in there. It smells really nice. Very, very, very bright, sweet citrus. With a hint of some sugary stone fruits too. I don't get much pine or anything like that in the aroma. It has a sugary sweet quality to it, but I don't think it's gonna be really syrupy sweet. And just a hint of fresh barley and grain in there too. Yeah, it smells fantastic. If a medium high or big aroma, it's not as explosive as some beers I've had, but it is a very, very flawless aroma. There's nothing weird going on in here. Lots of body. Gets much more peppery on the tongue. I'm getting flesh and pith of citrus, juicy grapefruit for sure, lemon, lime, and again, yes, more barley in the flavor actually than the aroma. I actually get a bready, and it's like a taste that reminds me of smelling when they're mashing grain at Farmstead. If you go on a weekday, you'll see billows of steam or smoke coming out, and you'll smell it just like at any other brewery. But the aroma stays a little bit sweeter and fruitier and lighter. The flavor is more intense than you might expect from the aroma. Yeah, right on the edge of piney. More of a light spruce sort of thing. And some really clean resin. But I love how that barley flavor comes in there. That's what Farmstead does really well with a lot of their beers, is you can really notice that there's barley in it. It doesn't just seem like, pure juice, just all fruit and dankness and only hop flavor. And like a lot of beers from Trillium, a lot of IPAs, like I don't really, I'm surprised that they even use barley. It's not just all sugar or something. It's almost seems like it isn't beer. Well, this one has all the aspects of beer, all the ingredients of beer are noticeable in this. I mean, very, very hop forward, but it's complex, and it has a nice kind of Sprite-like finish that I get from just about every Hill Farmstead double IPA. It's always got this nice zesty finish to it. And the body is soft with a very fine texture, dries out my tongue really well. But in my last review of the Society in Solitude number 9, I found it to be pretty bitter and intense at first, and that's the same way I'm experiencing this. But you get used to it pretty quickly. It's not the kind of bitterness that builds and builds until it's unpalatable. Yeah, that's very nice. It's definitely way better than when I had it on tap. That one time at a restaurant, the aroma, isn't gigantic. I think Hill Farmstead, oftentimes their IPAs have a little bit more aroma. I'm not sure what that has to do with. Maybe it's the fact that they condition this longer before they package it and release it, or something like that, to make it mellow out and be a more drinkable beer at 8%. And maybe lower alcohol beers, you can package them a little bit more quickly when the dry hop's a little bit fresher. I'm not sure exactly what's causing that. The Hill Farmstead double IPAs are an intense experience. It's not just a super sweet, all juicy fruit experience. It packs the bitter punch that a lot of people want from double IPAs. That's why I think a lot of people really like these, and they get really good ratings because they can make any kind of IPA lover happy. But it's not like Heady Topper, which is mild enough and has enough sweet malt character that a lot of people who don't like IPAs like Heady Topper. This is definitely for the IPA crowd. I'd be surprised if someone who's like, I don't like hops, has this beer and decides that they like hops. I don't think this is going to change people's minds who aren't used to the whole intense bitter hop experience. But it's not too much. It's just perfectly balanced, you might say. As every single citrus fruit happens in this beer. Oh, now I'm getting some more tropical, powdery candy like flavors coming in now that I've kind of gotten used to the bitterness. Yeah, this beer does evolve, and I guess that's what you would hope from a double IPA sort of thing, that it's going to take you a little while to drink it, so you don't want it to just taste the same the whole time. Yeah, as it warms up, I might notice some more sweet candy-like malts. Yeah, it's almost melony now, and it's not juicy, super ripe pineapple. It still has the effect of juicy but bitter grapefruit. Yes, this deserves probably the 4.5+ rating that it has for sure. If you can ever try this beer, I would do it. I assume most places that have this on tap, it's going to be fresh because it's going to move fast enough in most restaurants. But there are some places in Vermont where they're not. They get great Vermont beer on tap, and something like this doesn't move fast enough, which makes me think that, Hill Farmstead, you're making more beer now. Why don't you ship more kegs across state lines, not to just certain special bars, so you don't have to go to Vermont, because people out here will treat your kegs nicely, and we will drink your beer very quickly. And that's all I have to say. Goodbye.